In this video, our journey takes us deep into the mountains of Bwindi for the true highlight of this trip, the very reason we chose to visit Uganda, coming face to face with mountain gorillas.
Long drive for Addison.
Today's objective: reach Bwindi, a vast and ancient tropical woodland that shelters about 500 mountain gorillas. To get there, we had to cross Queen Elizabeth National Park once again, which meant another long drive ahead. The road was extremely rough. Not just a little bumpy, like really bumpy. The car couldn't go very fast, constantly shaking and tilting from side to side. At times, it honestly felt like we were going to tip over.
もうやばい、車がほぼ45度倒れてる。
We were driving through the Ishasha sector of the park, the same region famous for its tree climbing lions. So of course, Addison kept scanning the trees, slowing down at every good spot, just in case we might get lucky again. But this time, no lions. Still, the wildlife didn't disappoint. We encountered forest elephants, smaller and darker than the savanna elephants we had seen before, so not always easy to tell apart at first. We also spotted bird species we hadn't seen yet, like the long-crested eagle and the hammerkop. Even without the lions, the journey itself felt like a continuous safari. Just after leaving the park, we made a short stop at Simba Cafe, a small organic restaurant near the exit of Queen Elizabeth National Park.
今からランチするみたいです。どうした？
After hours on the road, the simple home-style food felt incredibly comforting. Sim grill.
Sim with pork. 耳はベジタリアンカレー。で、今から4時間ぐらいのドライブです。
Then it was time to head toward our next destination, Bwindi Impenetrable Forest. As we continued driving, the landscape slowly began to change. The flat savanna gave way to rolling hills, then to steep mountains covered in dense greenery. We were gaining altitude, heading up to around 1,200 meters.
すげえ泥に来たよな。
The road became rougher and narrower, mostly unpaved with no guardrails, just a small ridge of dirt separating us from the edge. I have to admit it was a little scary at times. But at the same time, the views were absolutely stunning. Endless layers of green stretching as far as the eye could see, with cooler air gradually replacing the heat of the plains. And somewhere along the way, I had a bit of a personal emergency.
自然でうんちしました。すっきりしました。まあ自慢するところじゃないけど、でも一応ファンな方がもうどこでもうんちできる。安心してください。
Let's just say, when nature calls, there is no ignoring it. Thankfully, on roads like this, your guide can always find a quiet spot for what they call a bush toilet. We finally arrived at our lodge for the night, Bweza Gorilla Lodge.
今夜泊まるロジュに着きました。ちょっとショートハイクてかさ、人生で一番ビビったドライブ。
間違いない。
マジで
あの人気使ってるじゃん。
あ、ディソンOK 着きました。
And the moment we got there, we were speechless. The view over the surrounding mountains was simply breathtaking. This was it, the forest of the mountain gorillas. Our room was spacious and cozy, with a small terrace overlooking the landscape. And even the bathroom had a view.
Thanks for the hard drive.
That evening, we had an early dinner at the lodge. Then it was time to rest, because the next day we would finally enter the forest. It was finally the day, the highlight of our entire trip, and the main reason we came to Uganda, to meet the mountain gorillas. We left at sunrise, driving through the misty mountains of Bwindi, as the villages were still asleep. There was a quiet tension in the air. We didn't really know what to expect, but we knew this would be something special.
Bwindi Impenetrable National Park にやってきました。で、今日はいよいよこの旅の目標、
ハイライト。ゴリラのトレッキング。
とても楽しみです。
Before setting off, we were welcomed by the Rushaga community women's group with traditional songs and dances. It was a joyful introduction to the local culture and a reminder that gorilla tourism supports not only conservation, but also the communities living around Bwindi Forest. After that, the rangers gathered us for a briefing. They explained the history of the forest, the rules to follow during the trek, and how the gorilla families are carefully managed.
In most of Africa's forests, we have other families that are not used to humans.
Visitors are divided into small groups of 8 people maximum, each assigned to a specific gorilla family. That day, we were assigned to the Nshongi family.
今日の気分、あんまり
ビリビリや。わざわざ。
すぐ会えたらいいな。あんまりちょっとロングはちょっと。
Then we stepped into the forest.
今からゴリラトレッキングが始まります。そう。で、ポーターの手伝いを頼みました。
Before starting, we decided to hire a porter. It costs about $20, and beyond helping you carry your gear, it's also a direct way to support the local community. The length of the trek can vary a lot depending on where the gorillas are. It can take anywhere from 1 hour to several hours to reach them. Looking at our group, which included some older participants, we had a feeling ours might be a shorter trek. And I think Miyuki was quite happy about that.
ガチのトレッキングです。
The vegetation was incredibly dense, but the air felt cooler than in Kanitsu for the chimpanzee trekking. After about 25 minutes of hiking, we heard a distinctive sound echoing through the forest.
何の音？ゴリラ？
ゴリラ。
The deep chest beating of a silverback. That was the moment we knew we were close.
Are we ready?
Yeah. Ready.
A few steps later, we saw them. The Nshongi family, and they were much closer than we had ever imagined. The juveniles seemed surprisingly curious. sometimes wandering just a few steps away from us. The youngest gorillas were constantly playing, climbing over one another and tumbling through the vegetation. Meanwhile, the leader of the family, an imposing silverback, sat quietly nearby. He kept a watchful eye on everything around him, yet seemed almost completely uninterested in the visitors. There was no fence, no glass separating us, and despite their immense strength, there was a gentleness about them impossible to ignore. These gorillas belong to one of the habituated families, groups that have spent years gradually becoming accustomed to human presence. Thanks to this careful process, visitors are allowed a single hour with them. Just 1 hour, yet somehow it felt like 15 minutes. The permit alone costs $800 per person, but it is worth every penny. Some would say, just go see gorillas in a zoo. But standing there, in their own world, you immediately understand that this experience can't be matched. Just a few decades ago, mountain gorillas were on the brink of extinction. Today, their population has recovered to more than 1,000 individuals, thanks in part to conservation efforts supported by tourism. Just being among them, it was hard not to feel grateful. Then, almost as quickly as it had begun, our hour was over.
Great, thank you. You guys did a great job.
すごい体験でした。こういう短いトレックだったの。
よかった、短い時間に見れて。
楽しかった。
そうでした。
As we made our way back to the starting point, we were still trying to process what we had just experienced.
耳満足。
満足。いっぱい見れた。
At the end of the trek, we received a certificate to commemorate the experience. A simple piece of paper, but a reminder of a moment we will never forget.
一人じゃない。
As we left the mountains of Bwindi, we realized we had missed a planned visit to the Batwa community.
で今は何？ブインディの違うセクターに向かってるってこと？
あれじゃない。バトワ族のなんか言ってるのかな。
Unfortunately, due to a misunderstanding, the visit didn't happen. It was probably our biggest regret of the trip, so if you ever plan a similar journey, make sure to double-check your itinerary, even with a guide. There are some opportunities you don't want to miss. In the next and final part of this series, we'll search for some of Uganda's most spectacular birds and track one of Africa's most fascinating creatures. Thanks for watching and see you in the final episode.